Why goats test young guardian dogs. When a young guardian dog enters a herd, most people expect bonding. They imagine goats gathering around it, accepting it immediately, recognizing it as protection. But that's not what happens. Instead, goats move closer, then step away. They circle behind the dog. They bump into it. They stare longer than usual. To an owner, it can look like rejection, but it isn't rejection. It's testing. Because before goats trust a guardian dog, they push it. Goats survive by reading subtle behavior. They notice posture, movement speed, eye contact, emotional energy. A young LGD doesn't arrive as a protector in their eyes. It arrives as an unknown animal. And unknown animals get tested. Goats aren't trying to dominate the dog. They're trying to understand it. Experienced guardian dogs move slowly and deliberately. Young dogs move with curiosity. They turn quickly. They react emotionally. They chase small movements without thinking. To goats, that energy feels unstable. So goats create small challenges, standing too close, walking behind the dog, blocking its path. These actions aren't aggression, they're information gathering. One of the earliest tests goats perform is proximity. A goat may walk into the dog's resting area and watch its reaction. If the dog jumps, suddenly, goats step back and reassess. If the dog stays calm, goats relax faster. Calmness tells the herd, this animal isn't a predator. And once that signal appears, trust begins to grow. Many owners worry when goats lightly headbutt or nudge a young LGD, but this behavior is often exploratory. Goats are asking, will this dog panic? Will it chase? Will it hold its ground? A confident young guardian learns to ignore small pushes. That indifference communicates strength without aggression. Goats also test how a dog reacts to herd movement. They may suddenly shift direction to see if the dog runs after them. Young dogs often fail this test by chasing playfully. Older guardians understand that movement doesn't require reaction. Stillness passes the test faster than speed. When a young LGD barks excessively at goats, the herd becomes cautious. Noise feels like pressure. Pressure feels unpredictable. And goats want stability, not excitement. The quieter the dog remains during early interactions, the faster goats accept it as part of the environment. Usually one or two dominant goats approach the young guardian before the rest. These goats read behavior closely. If they feel safe, the rest of the herd follows their lead. That's why acceptance sometimes seems sudden. One goat's decision influences everyone else. Goats don't just evaluate, they shape behavior. A young dog learns boundaries through these interactions. When goats walk away from chaotic movement, the dog learns to slow down. When goats rest near calm posture, the dog learns what stability looks like. Testing becomes silent training. In large pastures, goats may test more aggressively. They feel less confined, so they explore more freely. Young guardians must learn to hold presence without reacting to every emotion. This teaches the dog that control comes from position, not pursuit. Time changes everything. As a young LGD matures, its movements slow. Its posture becomes heavier. Goats notice this shift. Testing fades. Acceptance grows. The same goats that once pushed the dog begin resting beside it. Many people intervene too quickly. They separate the dog. They correct goats unnecessarily. They assume conflict instead of communication. But controlled testing is part of bonding. Interruption can delay the natural learning process. Not all pressure is healthy. If goats chase or overwhelm a young dog constantly, it may need support from an older guardian or controlled introduction time. Balance matters. Testing should teach, not intimidate. Trust appears quietly. Goats stop staring. They graze closer. They lie down near the dog without watching it constantly. This moment often goes unnoticed, but it's the turning point. The dog is no longer an outsider. It's part of the herd's emotional landscape. When goats push a young guardian dog, they aren't rejecting it. They're asking, are you stable? Are you calm? Do you belong here? And every time the dog stays grounded instead of reacting emotionally, it answers those questions without a single command. Testing turns into trust, and the young guardian becomes more than a protector. It becomes part of the herd itself. If you enjoyed this video or if you learned something new, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and tune into the next one. Thank you for watching.